My name's Lee Lefevre. I live on Orcas Island, and this is my dog Piper. And we also live here with my wife Saji. I think that we are lucky to live in a place with a nice view. And I think that part of the goal of the architecture was to maximize the view. I think there's a lot of rules in architecture about where you put things and how you think about it. But if there's a view, that really guides everything. I think in general, we like homes that blend in, that sort of feel embedded in the environment versus like sticking out of the environment. That's kind of why we have a lower profile. It's not a tall home, it's a wide home. And I think something dark like that really helps too. Also creating outdoor spaces that extended the seasons. Where we are, we high latitudes, short summers, long winters, and anything we could do to stay out of the rain and stay warm for longer on the shoulder seasons was really important. In terms of the finishes, we have some metal work around our grill, and that wraps around at the inside, and that's one of the sort of art pieces of the house. The outdoor room. Again, it was that same idea of the extending the seasons, having a place that we can be warm and dry when it's not so nice outside. The Vancouver Island Mountains create a rain shadow that keeps it a little bit drier than Seattle, but it's still the dark, misty winters, which I really love. And I think one of the things about the way our house is oriented and the way that a lot of the glass on the front of the house means that you actually kind of feel like you're outside. You're like in the weather. You can see the weather coming from really far away. And then you can watch it come, and then you don't have to like get up and look out of a window. It's just that is your view. And I think the side that faces south gets a lot of sun. One of the fringe benefits there is we have raised beds against that wall. I'm a huge weather nerd, and I just love feeling like I'm part of the weather. I think one of our risks in this area, it's true all over the Northwest, is wildfires. We have a metal roof, and Nakamoto, already being burned is an asset. We just like the look of black too. I think that feels Northwest. We wanted, Japanese Scandinavian design. We don't have any plans to do that. I think, we'll touch up some little places that might wear, but in terms of the sort of natural weathering of it, our plan right now is to let it go. We knew that going into it when we first started looking at Nakamoto, the process and the reality that it does do that. There's lots of evidence of that in Japan, of course. And they appreciating that kind of thing, like that's part of the character of the home. And we assumed that would be our case too, that we wouldn't try to keep it perfect. Even our deck doesn't have any kind of finish or stain. It's just silvered. And it's kind of the natural version of that. And so I think we always saw it as an asset to the extent it would happen. And, we've been through a number of winters now and summers too. My wife is half Japanese. We've been there a few times and kind of understand the Japanese aesthetic. And I think that we saw that connection, and that inform some of our opinions about what should happen if you're coming out of the blue and have never seen the Japanese homes or the pictures even, then maybe that's a harder thing to imagine. It's just purely an aesthetic thing. We were one of the early people on the island to have Nakamoto. The look of it, I think, feels like something that's natural, like it is burned wood. It's not something that's supposed to look like burned wood. It actually is charred cypress. That was something that I think we both liked, is the truth in materials kind of idea. I think that there are people being attracted to Nakamoto, and I think for good reason. But there's a lot of people that think, oh, I can do that myself. I can burn some cedar and put it on my house. And it looks good for a little while, but there is something about a really professional process that has been doing it for years that you really can't replace with your torch and a piece of wood.